It's Thursday night. All ye critters, come join us. It's time to continue our lives. There is magic and mystery from darkness. Our friendship will rise. But one thing's for sure, we never give up on the fight. Oh, get ready. It's Thursday night.
And welcome back. So, last we left off, half of Bell's Hells and some new companions have traversed the interior of Uthadern, righted some challenges that arose in the reverberations caused by the apogee solstice in the events that occurred under Lieutenant Staleth and Marquet. In doing so, you gained the favor of the diarchy of Uthadern. After speaking with the king and queen of Uthadern and asking about Ludinus, discovered that indeed Ludinus existed within the city of Molaesmyr, where most of the elves who lived within this city and joined the dwarves here in Uthadern fled from in its destruction, as well as learning that within the ruins there, perhaps there may be remnants of his past within, as he had within the city the Guildhollow Tower that he resided within before its destruction and fall. You've gathered yourselves some Flotket goats, and you've begun your trek towards Savalirwood in hopes of uncovering some information.
My goat has a cold.
So, about 200 miles southwest of Uthadern is the ruins of Molaesmyr through the Savalirwood. You are 3 days via goat across the Alps. That's 3 days of travel across the mountains. It is a beautiful and very effective day of travel, as you traverse a good chunk of the Alps themselves, and then bed down within your encampment for an evening's rest. Your second of your third day's journey across the mountain range comes to an end for an evening's encampment. Unless somebody else has any business to do for the evening, we can roll for the third day.
Oh no!
Did I do it?
You did it.
2. And as you push in the direction you think you're traveling in directly, your vision becomes harder and harder as the hefty elements of a coming blizzard begins to intersect with your journey. I would like everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
I rolled a 1, and I'm gonna
You don't have to explain it.
It's because tell you what my new outfit I kind of designed with no pants, so I think I'm cold.
You don't have any pants?
I got
Just Donald
shorts. I still
Duck in
got
it?
shorts. They're cute little shorts under a very sheer dress.
You are Marquet ready. The rest of you rest well, but I will say both Imogen and Chetney over here take 2 points of exhaustion.
2 points.
From the chill of this stark blizzard carving through the Alps. You come and crest at the bottom, just in the outskirts of the Ivory Lake, and you can see the massive lake itself, the crystal waters kind of surrounding the space there. A little bit of frost kind of gathered at the edges. It looks like it's been kind of in the process of a melt. The river continues in an eastern direction as well as in a southwestern direction, the direction you're going. And you can see it disappear into the mass gray-purple, relatively ominous-looking forest that consumes the majority of the southwest direction across the
Which
Grand
way is the water flowing?
The water is flowing in the direction you're traveling.
So we should lash the goats together and make a goat boat.
Stop it.
On our map, the ruins of Molaesmyr, are they at this fork?
Correct.
And we're kind of at
So
the,
if we're here at the lake, we just to entertain the goat boat idea, we could roll down the river and it would take us straight to this
Where we're
fork,
going.
which is exactly where we're going. I don't know if the goats would survive or us, but
You can't float a goat.
I'm gonna talk to
They're cold
Donnie
weather.
Boy.
Goats float in the water. Their ancestors were able to swim across large bodies of water, and goats have retained this ability.
Everyone was rude to me. Paris vacation. Sorry.
Hey, Donnie Boy.
yeah. No.
We were thinking
No.
of possibly like making a goat boat.
Okay.
So
Absolutely not.
I think like what that would entail is either tying you all together or you each like bite the tail of the goat in front of you.
Like a goat centipede?
Yeah, just
Great,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah,
Just like
okay.
that.
Rare flow tonight.
And then we just float down the river. I don't know if that's something you guys would be in. Can you swim?
I fell into the water once and I was able to get out okay, yeah. I haven't done it as like a group of them, but like we can do that.
We can do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I think we can do it. I think we can do the goat boat. If you're down, the water might be cold, but you've got all the fluff, so.
I mean, yeah, as long as we don't get wet, I think we'll be all right.
Oh, baby.
Are there any like logs around? We could put
Maybe
them.
just have the goat stand on logs.
Well, no, I was gonna say like just put them on the sides of the goat boat, so that
If there's logs around, though, why don't we just use the logs?
Any logs or trees laying around?
There are bits of wood that can be fashioned with some time, yeah.
Mr. Pockapee?
Yes?
I want to see if maybe we can find some similarly measurable pieces of wood and tie some
craft a
things
raft
together.
for the goat
Boy,
boat.
pieces of wood. Craft a raft.
You find along the outside of the lake a number of trees that have either fallen or could be rather rapidly fallen and then made into some buoyant, small-scale raft with some hours to spare. A few hours go by. You all are starting to reach the point of exhaustion, those already haven't. And right before you cross that boundary to a point where you yourselves might be feeling a bit spent for the day, the final bits of rope are fastened. And tell me, how large a raft have you constructed with these materials?
Oh, I think, because we're not leaving the goats, because I love them. So let's go like 10 by 10 and it's cozy.
10 by 10 with all of you and your goats?
Yeah.
All right.
It's cozy.
I love it. That's real cozy.
Yeah.
Before we get on the raft, though, I'd like to just pull Deanna aside and say, based on what we learned, I don't know if you'll feel comfortable with this, but you didn't do the to me this morning. Totally okay, but I think maybe you should put it on FCG. We need everyone who can heal, and it's important that he stays around.
Is that what you want?
Absolutely, yes, without a doubt.
Is it just because he's a healer?
Honestly, no, but it is the primary reason.
Okay, for you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna go over with my biggest big sister energy from a little guy. Come here.
What?
What are your intentions with my friend?
What do you mean? What do you mean intentions?
You guys have gotten awfully close. Here, help me tie this rope for this very small thing. Chat, go away real quick. I have to interrogate.
What'd you say?
CG. Oh. Yeah. What? You guys have gotten very close, and it's very nice, but if you are just dallying about because you just zoom in and break hearts, I'll break your neck.
You think that I could be a heartbreaker?
I think if you wanted to, you could.
Wow, that's the nicest thing I've
Why are you being so nice?
Oh man, imagine me as a heartbreaker, just
okay.
leaving a trail of sad
Yes.
romances behind
Yeah, and one tire track.
me. And one tire track.
Perfect.
No, your friend Frida makes me feel so special in a way that I've never felt before. And my intentions are to make sure that they are happy and healthy and warm at night, and that's it.
God, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Why? What's their intention?
Nothing. No,
Did
nothing.
They say anything?
Oh my God, no. They did ask if you wouldn't mind if I could put a death ward on you, just to keep you safe.
But don't you normally do that on Frida?
Yeah.
I accept. That's an honor.
All right. Where do you want it?
How about just
Slap you on the back.
The energy courses through the back of your shoulders, and you can feel the symbol of the Dawnfather kind of emblazoned on the back of your armor.
Now, I might just ask you the same. Are you here to enact romantic revenge on my friend? Are you gonna love him and leave him? Are you gonna bet him and dead him? Are you gonna...
One more?
Are you gonna fuck him and chuck him?
I think Deanna just lays down on that one. No. It's very good seeing Chet again. But if I have it right, I think there's something going on with him and Fern. And I don't want to get in the way of that.
I mean, I no judgment. I think that both Fern and Chetney have had, dalliances before with where they haven't really meant much. I don't, there's, again, no judgment. I think it could happen, but I don't think that there's like love there. But I've seen him look at you. It's like the way he looks at a piece of birch.
With the raft seemingly completed and the light of the day beginning to fade, do you wish to camp for the evening here along the banks of the Ivory Lake?
Before we go to bed, sorry, Matt. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not as cold here at the base of the mountain, so the evening's rest will come well.
I'm gonna try. I don't think it's gonna work, but I will also burn a 5th level spell, and I will cast Commune.
Oh.
Was ist das?
I will try to contact the Changebringer.
I'm curious, how does FCG prepare for this ritual?
The only connection I have with this thing, besides every piece of advice being perfect that I've received from her, is this coin that I was given, which now in my new outfit is sort of like right here on my chest. So, I'll just touch the coin, and I don't know. So, I don't know how to reach out to this being. So other than casting the spell and touching the coin, I'll just say, Changebringer, I need you. Can you hear me?
You close your eyes for a second. The wind kind of drifts by, the cold, early onset evening wind. You kind of glance the path you took behind you after opening them, not really sensing anything. You glance in the direction of the river where you're going, and you kind of look, you watch the river disappears into the forest ahead. And you kind of watch as the river seems to almost shift, like it kind of bends, like something moved it, ever so faintly.
Oh, that's a sign. Just kind of look around, no one's around me. Okay. I'll ask the river a question, I guess. I'll say, there's been a lot of debate about whether the gods are good or bad, whether we need them or not, whether they need us. But right now, I just want to know, are you real?
The wind begins to pick up around you, kind of whipping past you in the direction of the flow of the river. You can just feel like leaves and bits of dust and snow kind of whip past you, and you swear you can see like almost like tendrils of hair whipping past you. As you notice this, the color of the vicinity around you begins to shift, like an odd change of color, and you turn around, and it's odd. You glance and can see the horizon line beyond the mountains to the east, and you can see a figure standing an impossible number of miles away, yet somehow their hair is traveling this far and is just drifting around you, whipping with the wind. as it does. Present, but distant.
Oh, wow. I guess that's a yes. Have you been watching me?
The wind picks up and whips around, and the chain that your coin, or the coin is you place in your chest, it kind of tears from your grasp and lands heads up in the snow in front of you.
Dope. Amazing. I think I get one more question. Well, first I'll say, thank you for finding me and being with me. It's meant a lot, and you've helped me already. I guess the only other thing I really want to know is, do you need help?
There's a long pause in the horizon where the extended tendril-like mass of hair that seems to whip around you, never quite striking you, just kind of dancing around the proximity of your person. You then watch the figure begin to pull back and lift up off the horizon, the hair stretching with it, like strands of rope being tethered hundreds of miles, just slightly bowing at that distance, anchored to this shape. As it does, you feel can only be described as not quite fear, but they acknowledge and confirm with cold emotion what you can interpret to be a yes. But as you do, she also pulls away.
Oh no.
And for a second, you see within that fog other shapes, like it's joining others before the color begins to drift from that ethereal glow back to that setting sun. And for the first time since you've began this odd trek into what some might call faith, you've felt seen. And not like a sign, but truly seen by something immense, ancient, more powerful and unknowable than even you were prepared for. And even just this small moment, you felt simultaneously like the most important you've ever been, and the most small and unnecessary.
I think I saw the change bring.
Wait. Where?
Like in a vision.
Oh.
But I got the feeling that the gods might really need us to help them. It was amazing. But also, she answered another question that I had without even asking it.
What question?
I saw her so far away, but I could still see her because there is no curvature.
Sure.
She was hundreds and hundreds of miles away, but there was just a straight shot and I could see her.
How do we...
I don't know, but we just gotta
How do we help?
We just gotta keep moving tomorrow. That's all. You're a faithful person too, right?
Yeah.
Are you though? You seem sort of cynical about the whole thing.
I put my stock a little more in people than I do in the gods. I thank the Dawn Father for giving me the tools to keep all of you alive forever. But beyond that, I trust people.
One by one, you begin to rouse from your slumber. And those of you who had exhaustion points, you can remove 1 from your total.
Okay, we doing this?
Should I get? Okay, I'm gonna get on. Clack, 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 clack.
Okay. And it takes a moment for Donnie Boy to be like, kind of catches, it shakes a bit, and it's at this moment you realize. I mean, these goats they're riding goats. They take up a good amount of space. Using Titanic logic.
Yeah.
Highly debated.
Yes. You could, in theory, squeeze all the goats onto this raft. You are uncertain as to how long they'll stay there, but we can give it a shot.
Yes.
Oh no!
Can you calm the goats?
I don't want to lose the goats.
I mean, we could kind of try and tie them all chin in like a circle, so they're all facing inward. I mean, it doesn't mean they
Like
won't
a star
panic and move.
of goat.
This is a 10-foot by 10-foot raft, and you're essentially trying to fit approximately 5 horses on it.
They're as big as horses.
We can stack them.
Riding goats!
We can stack them.
We're not stacking goats.
I think that's worked in it.
I don't know if we need
Yes,
all of the goats.
What?
I don't know if we need all of the goats, because we're both little. We could share a goat.
What are we gonna do?
We were gonna start
I
one by
cock
one.
my hand like a gun and kill my goat.
This is a Sophie's
What?
choice.
I killed my goat. I killed Jerry immediately.
Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Wait, don't kill them. Just leave them behind. Leave them behind.
I'm just gonna
I guess we gotta get to harvesting. We can't let it go away.
I'm cheering Jerry.
But there's just one goat down, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna just carry a bunch of meat with you now?
Throw it in the hole. It's freezing out
We
here.
don't have a hole.
We don't have the hole, but may I suggest? I can make a stew. We can make like a little baggie,
Oh, and hang it over the side.
hang it over the side.
It'll stay nice and cold.
It'll stay very cold.
In the water?
Yeah, that
Meat
makes sense.
in the water.
Donnie boy, it's
I'm
okay.
gonna try to calm him.
Donnie Boy's the biggest one.
Donnie boy,
Donnie Boy's the most loyal.
But even with one goat down, there is a ton of goatage on this 10 by 10 foot raft.
can swim alongside of
I'm
us.
saying we leave them. Jesus.
And you know what?
Change bringer be with us. We leave the fucking goats and we don't take them. It's better to leave them here.
I'm not leaving Donnie boy out here.
Just to
I don't know
clarify,
about
it is
that.
4 days of travel through the Savalirwood by foot or mount, and about 2.5 days down the Boreal Omen River.
It's worth it.
All right, Donnie boy. Hey,
Hey.
are you there?
Hey, it's for horses, Fern.
Yeah.
Sorry about what happened. It's okay. Would you want to just hang out like around here, like you and the gang, just hanging in the cove?
What happened to Jerry?
Oh gosh.
He had well. What had happened was we thought that we were all
He
gonna.
exploded.
He did explode. I don't know. We were all gonna try to get on the raft.
What's gonna happen?
No, because if we come back,
Oh, if we need to ride again. Okay. Stay in the cove. There's plenty of meat for you. Plenty of food.
Fern.
What? The organ's really rich in iron and stuff.
She's right.
Just stay in that little cove.
Look over, Patchwork is already eating parts of Jerry.
Patchwork slaps.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you have to survive. There's your food. Stay over here and just be safe.
Make an animal handling check.
Okay.
There's she's diabetic.
Okay. Oh.
Boom.
All right.
It's a well-handled animal.
Okay. That's my animal handling. 25.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. We'll go ahead and rest over by the bank, and I guess just wait for you to come back.
Yeah. And then if we don't, in like, well, you don't. Can you tell time, days, and
Where's
things like that?
time?
That's a good question. All right. Well, just stay here and then. Just stay here, but don't die. Like, if you get hungry or you feel like you're gonna just like withering away, go back home.
Yeah, I know that.
All right, all right.
All right, we're gonna stay and eat cherry.
So with that, you all step atop the relatively well-made raft that can comfortably house you six. You begin to feel the current draw you closer and closer to the mouth and entrance of the Savalirwood. As you approach, you can see the massive canopy, the twisted tops of this forest themselves, a collection of knotted and tangled branches and purple, brown, red leaves that all just pull into each other and seem to create almost like an elevated bramble mess that encompasses a massive section of this part of the continent. Eventually, you begin to get closer and closer until the river itself enters the forest proper, and the light of the day in the sky above immediately falls into shadow. It is here, in the darkened space, that the ominous sense of the wood begins to creep in. And immediately you can see the low fog that kind of settles amongst the bases of the trees around you. It kind of has this immediate clarity as to why they call it the Cursed Wood. And you, having traversed these spaces before, you are quite familiar with the dangers of this interior. You've seen a few terrifying creatures in here, beyond just like corrupted dire beasts and massive wolves. You haven't gotten too close to the ruins, but you've run into a few creatures that seem to be a little altered by the expanse here. You once came upon a massive warthog, but as opposed to a set of eyes, a singular central eye, and where its legs protruded, it was just one single long, almost like bending finger of a leg in the front and one in the back, and it seemed to continuously rush and leap, almost like a deer, but in mid-hunt for something else.
Why is this place like this?
Oh, I mean, it's all kind of legend and folktale and stuff. But there was like a great event that happened that ruined the woods. And so if you can teleport from, kind of the middle of the Empire, Wildemount, up to Uthodurn, and you typically would. And if you had to travel the woods out of necessity like I did, it was not really recommended.
How did you survive on your own, Mr. Puck?
I was very crafty. I'm very good at trapping. I'm good at living off of the land. And I also I killed a werewolf. Yeah,
Is that
that
how
helped.
you were? Is that how you were affected by it?
Yes. Yeah, I got that motherfucker, but not before he bit me. And so, here I am.
Wait, I'm sorry. It bit you,
Yeah.
and then you turned into that.
Yep.
Am I...
Sorry?
You remember you bit me, right?
Remember? It's kind of a little hazy in those moments. I believe you?
Could that have affected Frida?
I'm not an expert on Aormaton,
You made a promise not to turn anyone else.
I know. I did. Yeah. I mean, the wolf's a different, thing, but...
Is it a blood thing, like a disease, or a curse thing?
Yes, that one. It's actually, it's a curse. I was kind of given clear instructions not to spread it,
Am I gonna be okay?
I mean, I think so.
I can hear it.
I don't really... You can't hear it.
I definitely can.
Do you have really good
It's in our brain.
Bet your ass.
I don't know how Aormatons work. But if you say you don't have blood, and it's a blood curse, maybe it won't take. But we'll keep an eye on you, all right?
Just don't let me hurt Deanna.
If it's a curse, it can be cured. Chet really likes turning into a wolf. That's the only reason he's He's stuck with it. I bet there's a solution.
What are you guys talking about?
No way. Which direction?
As Fern kind of begins to sing and half cackle to herself, the light of day fades as the night begins to greet you, and it's with the fall of the sunlight that the sounds of the Savalirwood truly come to life. You begin to hear distant cracks of something heavy moving through the woods. At a distance you can't make out, just the occasional of something moving through the wood. You also hear the occasional heavy of owls in the woods, crickets, and every now and then as you hit a bank or a splash, birds that scatter off. Savalirwood is alive. You're now drifting along the water. It is at a fairly decent speed. You also have no light source as the last of the light vanishes.
I'm gonna light up my little dancing orbs, and I'm gonna send them out so they like kind of float along the sides, so it kind of lights up the branches instead of just us.
Continuing on a bit. You hear a sound. A heavy, wet slap sound. You all kind of glance over as the raft kind of like bumps against the side of the river a bit and begins to like cruise down a slight decline porch, kind of hitting past that little bit of rapids. You hear a sound that follows it. Another slap. And you kind of glance over in the direction of where you can see it, and kind of not far from the bank, a little ways ahead to the right, just a little bit of your light beginning to show, you can see these little, not the blue motes that you saw distant in the forest, but these small little glowing motes of white light that just kind of drift. They kind of like drift and move and then stop. And then drift and move and stop.
Hunter's Bane.
Hunter's Bane.
I am freaking out.
Go ahead and make perception check.
Guidance.
With advantage for me, please.
I'm hot and I'm cold.
17.
You smell the air and kind of attune your senses to the energies around you, and indeed, those 100 or so feet ahead, you kind of glance out and you recognize those are small, but they're Fey sources.
Fey,
There's Fey energy or Fey life in that direction. And as you begin to drift further down the raft, kind of like bumping every now and then against the sides of the river as you kind of drift along with the rapids, your orbs begin to come into a light, the shape of what these things are. You can see tiny wings. These little like pixie-like creatures. There's 3 of them that are all kind of like moving around. Then you hear once again that whoosh, that heavy wet slap as you see something arc and smack, and you see that they're on something. They're kind of moving around and avoiding being slapped or crushed by a larger host entity that is currently lumbering through the wood about 15 or 20 feet beyond the embankment.
Is it similar to that thing that we saw before that looked like it was a pretend fairy?
That's your first thought. Your orbs begin to push into view, and you can see now this creature, this massive, almost like a bog mound. It is covered in moss and vines and all sorts of odd natural growths. You can see multitude of tendrils, almost like long tentacles that emerge from its body in places, some that drag behind it, some that kind of like slap in front of it as it pulls itself forward. You can see these kind of thick, almost elephant-like limbs that kind of like lumber forward as it goes. It's almost clumsy in the way it shifts and moves, occasionally trying to slap the pixies away. And you watch from beneath its canopy a singular, almost like an eye stalk, emerge and glance in the direction of the light. A giant splash into the water ahead of you as it leapt into the air and lands right in the center of the river that is now picking up and is now pushing your entire raft in the direction of this entity as it spins around. 4 or 5 of these tendrils spinning in the air like multiple eye stalks pushing through as a massive mouth opens before you. And with that, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
No!
We're already already in it.
Okay.
Criminies.
Whoa. It's so cool.
Which one should I
Oh
roll?
my god.
Here
Is our teeny weeny?
is your raft.
Teeny weeny beanie.
Teeny weeny.
We fighting.
No. That is huge. That is so much bigger.
That is I'm using a froghemoth as a proxy for my creature.
He's a cutie.
He's a fun one. Anyway,
Like 120
currently,
feet?
It's about 40 feet from you. It's gonna go ahead and kind of like block the path in the middle there. It's actually gonna move a little bit closer there, and it's gonna go ahead and make 2 tentacle strikes towards one towards Frida and one towards Fern at the very front. Against Frida, that's gonna be a 23 to hit.
That hits.
All right. You take 22 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled.
What?
22 points.
Matthew, that's too many.
And then against Fern, that's going to be a 26 to hit,
That does hit.
Oh.
and you are also grappled. So both of you are like wrapped around by the tentacles that it has.
Might have to be ready to get off this raft.
So you're both just kind of held there for a second, and then let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, it's gonna go ahead and lash its tongue out at you. The weird like jagged mouth opens, and this long, protruding kind of black tendril whips out towards you for a 19 to hit.
That hits.
That hits. Actually, no, you have to make a strength saving throw for me, if you don't mind.
Yes. Okay, not too bad here. Not too bad. That is a 16 plus 5, so 21.
21, the tongue goes and strikes you, and you see it trying to pull you towards its body, and you manage to reach out and shove it off of you and pull it free. You're still grappled by the tendril, but the weird tongue extension pulls back into its mouth. Deanna, you're up with FCG on deck.
Sorry. What's happening?
You're up.
Oh, great.
Your turn.
Okay, for my action, we're going to use control water.
Bring us even closer, faster.
No, Rudy's flood on this one. which,
Nice.
when cast in a body of water, creates a 20-foot wave.
Ooh.
I want it to go from this side to that side, 20 feet high, so it should actually hit those pixies.
Damn!
Okay.
It doesn't cause damage, but it can capsize boats.
Right.
So you're just sending the water here into the river, or what you're on?
Like
Not trying to
creating a
capsize
wall on
us,
this
yeah.
side?
Creating a wall, starting at the bad guy
Right.
and going that way. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll say as this wave kind of pushes through, and it is definitely high enough. All the pixies flittering. This wall of water just slams into them. You can't see their light. You just see the river kind of swell and then slam into the side. And they're all pushed. Actually, let me roll some strength saving throws here. Pixies, no further strength.
Yeah. This is strong.
Nope. 10-2-6.
I said get.
You don't even see the pixies right now. You just see water wash
they're
them
just
away. Alrighty, finishing your go. FCG, you're up.
Head names and stuff now. Okay, okay.
Frida, how do I help Frida? I don't have anything that can cut.
Buzz up.
I mean, I do, but it's on me.
Throw it.
I'll throw me at him. I can't let Frida go. I can't.
That's the thing that killed me. Thank you.
Yep.
I will fire my grapple cannon at the creature's toothy maw.
Right, roll for an attack.
2. That didn't work. I had advantage from Chetney on that last one.
Yes, you have advantage on this attack roll.
The second one was a 19, so the grapple cannon would have hit.
Okay, so you want to do that instead? All right. That does hit. The grapple cannon strikes.
You idiots, get back on the boat!
Heard you.
Is this really a boat? Can you call it a boat?
It was a goat boat for a little
So now
bit.
that I'm with him,
If it has one
how can
sail,
I
it's a
help
boat.
him? What's he
More than one,
gonna?
it's
What
a
are you gonna
ship.
need to do? To break a
This is a
grapple?
raft.
Is this a grapple?
I just want it. I don't want it to be broken, but
You're gonna go in there?
I can shoot it from inside.
All right, then I'll. Oh boy.
I love it.
Oh boy, you're crazy.
It's now the Bog Wretch's turn.
No!
First is go ahead and take a bite attack against you.
Oh,
I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move up onto land. I'm gonna get up over.
Move up on the
smart.
land.
I jump up the raft and get up here. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. All right. So the bite
guess we're not
attack
running
against
anymore.
Frida, and Frida is swallowed by the creature and vanishes into the gullet.
Just like we planned.
Mr. Pockapee knows.
it can't be happening.
Oh my god. With that, Frida, you're up.
Oh boy, I will.
You are currently blind and restrained. You are held within its body.
Ain't no thing.
Feeling the acidic chemicals within its body will begin to digest you shortly.
Yeah. I will bonus action reload,
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
and
I'm
I'll
inside
just
the
aim
dark.
straight up, and sharpshooter take a shot at it.
Go for it. Now you are restrained, so you have disadvantage on the strike.
Cool.
So just so you're aware.
Disadvantage. Give me a 20. Where are you? No, I don't like that. Natural 20 and a 9. But so that's a 9 plus 12 minus 5, which hits.
That would hit. Yep. So still from the inside, you strike, picking a direction, and you see like just this brief blast, and all the rest of you see the top of its head go.
The cheeks.
Yep. Smoke kind of
Bullfrog.
out the center of its mouth.
29 points of damage.
Yes!
Wow.
Dude, your one hit is equal to a 4th level spell. It's really amazing.
And
But I
it
only got the gun.
fails its Constitution save. It vomits
Regurgitation.
you out
Yeah!
into the water. Splish. You immediately fall into the current and are about to be swept
Oh
into the river.
shit.
He's made of metal.
Do I have any movement?
You are currently prone in the water, so you could attempt to swim for half your distance if you'd like.
And how far am I from the bank? From where Mr. Pocket
About
is?
10 feet.
Okay, so it'll take me half my movement to get sort of to the surface of the water. Is that the deal?
Essentially, yeah. And
So so I'll 15 feet up and then 15 feet to the bank.
okay, so you just get back onto the bank with the rest of your movement, and there you are.
And can I see Mr. Pockapee?
He's right up on the rock of Hubbard.
I'll just give you a wink, Mr. Pockapee.
Oh, I can see what MCG likes about you.
Okay.
So,
Well, then
I'd allow
I
you to-
will retract,
You're about to fall back
and
into
I
the
will
water
shoot it to the shoreline.
where everyone else is.
Yes.
Towards that tree right there?
Yeah,
Go
trying
ahead
to hit the tree.
So as you're like falling back, it flickers off, pulls taut against the tree, and right as you hit the water, you pull yourself upward
Amazing.
and free, right up into and past this right here. Onto the bank, kind of like swinging by it and then landing.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the scythe and I'm gonna swing it over my head, and I'm gonna arc it towards the wretch, and I'm gonna cast Shatter, but it's gonna hit in between the tree and the creature, but only 5 feet from the tree, so that it'll hopefully not just hit it, but also the tree trunk, and see if I can get that bitch to fall.
So blasting it from here. What's the radius on it?
60 feet, 10 feet, it's a 10-foot sphere. Nice. 9. 24 points of thunder damage.
Let's
4
go.
points of thunder
Oh,
damage.
that's a loud one.
This massive explosion rings out throughout the middle of the night air here.
Oh, shit.
And the splintering of wood and the blasting of water. Just you watch as the reverberations of the impact causes the surface of the lake to spray mist for a second. You also hear the tree
Oh boy. Oh boy.
tumble down. Roll 2d8 bludgeoning damage.
Let's go! Max damage, max damage.
11.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Oh!
That's so rad.
Falls into the water. How do you want to do this?
I'll just look at him and go, timber, motherfucker.
It falls forward, and as it does, you watch as the creature kind of backs away and tries to go to run for it as the tree collapses on top of it. As it does, it kind of holds it down into the water, and you watch as something about this tree, even while cut, seems to almost reach out and pierce this creature, almost like it's trying to take the life from it.
Dang.
The creature's like trying to crawl its way forward into the water, and as it does, the branches seem, as the tree itself is carved and dying in its own right, is still grasping and piercing into its body until it kind of comes to rest, halfway stabbed into this creature. The creature itself, the bog wretch, slowly crawling forward before it flumps down into the water, no longer moving.
Nice.
Can, with the rest of that turn, can I call to FCG and go, follow me? And I'm going to hop up on the, leaned over bark of the tree and try and run across it to the raft.
Sure, yeah. There's just enough space.
That's so cool.
Now, this would be a very precarious bumper pool type, bounce around here if you weren't still concentrating on control water.
Gotcha, buddy.
So what would be a series of saving throws to not be knocked into the river and lose control, you'll be able to completely ignore because of control water.
Nice.
So you immediately right the raft and squeeze it to this tiny space between the fallen tree and the massive corpse of this waterlogged creature. As you kind of slow down the water just enough for your friends to start running up the tree, and all leap atop and land safely onto the raft and continue your journey down. As it is now getting later in the evening, the fog that has taken the majority of the forest grows thicker and colder, and now begins to spread into the water itself. The rest of the evening, thankfully, is uneventful along the water itself, while in some cases a bit of a bit of a sitting duck in these dark evening moments. It seems to be a safer space to traverse the dangers of these woods, especially with minimal light. But eventually, slowly, the sky, from what you can see, begins to lighten, and the rest of you begin to waken once more. Those of you who previously had exhaustion, you heal another point. You begin to notice the further in you get along this way, some of the embankments along the river, occasionally there's almost like a smoke or something that rises from it. You recognize some of these. They're more towards the center of the Savalirwood, but there are these small cracks in the ground, almost like exposed curse geysers, if you will. They emit dark energy, and the smell itself is a mixture of like a metallic sulfurous scent. From one of the nearby embankments, you can see the rock seems to crumble away, and one of these geysers sprays this black miasma like smoke across the front of the river and your raft. All of you suddenly are immersed in this black, almost like black, purple, and red fog that seems to just pass you. I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy.
Oh, cool.
Fern and Deanna.
Hey, bud.
The rest of you kind of keep low and try and resist this curse. The two of you see this happen too late, and it seems to almost stick to you. It feels almost like you're being pulled through a curtain of freezing cold silk that is tugging at your body, and you feel almost like this miasma-like fog is going to pull you back and off the side of the raft, almost like it's drawing you with a gravity and a pull that is unlike any of the rest of the mist that you pass through. You catch yourself, and as it kind of pulls through your body, and I mean through, you feel like the inside of your rib cage. You feel the organs of your torso just go ice for a moment as it pulls through. You both take points of exhaustion, so a point each.
Okay.
And your hit points, the maximum hit points are reduced by 5.
Oh, damn.
A few more hours beyond that unfortunate encounter, you begin to see something along the canopy that is not tree-like, but like the peak of a tower, a structure of some kind.
Mr. Buckby.
Yes.
Glancing up, you can see something that is just like just a shadow outline of something that looks rigid and far larger than any of the trees you've seen. It doesn't seem to carry a silhouette that looks natural.
Any kind of a fork in the distance, or it looks like the river just continues?
From where you can see, the river is kind of like snaking around a bit. You're uncertain.
We should stop and investigate. This could help us.
I agree.
Should we make it to one side of the riverbank? Tie up?
Do you think this could be this could be where we're aiming for, right?
Could be. Could be a watchtower. It could yield some sort of clue when we actually get to where Molaesmyr was. We should take advantage.
I like shelter, and I like the high ground.
All right, we're gonna pull up over there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll produce my thorn whip and I'll like wrap it around a tree.
Nice.
Okay, so wrap it around. You all helping hold on to Fern and kind of forward this over onto the side of the bank. Eventually, it hits the side of one of the heavier roots. And with everyone's help, you can go ahead and pull the raft up onto the side and kind of drag it out of the river itself and set it at an angle on the side of the bank. The woods here grow so dense that it places you following a path you think, and then the path just closes. And it's like the trees have closed it off, like the end of a maze. Like, that's not good. And you back away and you swear you can hear the wood creaking, like it's shifting, almost like the wood itself is trying to move to close off your paths as you maneuver through. You step into some soft embankments of rotting vegetation and kind of the heavy base of some of these trees. And as you do, you feel almost like it gives way and you plummet to your knee and have to pull yourself free, afraid that something beneath the surface is trying to eat at your foot. The nerves and anxiety begin to build through you, and for a moment you feel like you've lost your way. The dark purple and reds of this central part of the Savalirwood kind of giving an alien and unwelcome sensation the deeper and deeper in you move. And it's here in the heart of this corrupted forest that you eventually get a glimpse once more of that massive tower. And it looks like it probably stands now with a better point of perspective, 10 or so stories up.
What?
Wow.
Seriously, so stupid.
And as you begin to look, there are other towers, though not all at proper angles.
They're all leaning one way, or are they leaning into each other?
They're leaning at different angles, almost like the ground itself has begun to sink or shift over time.
And we were looking for the Guild Hollow Tower?
The Guild Hollow Tower.
Hollow?
As you push a little closer to the ominous sight, you begin to see the remnants of walls, now deeply overgrown and mostly reclaimed by the surrounding wood. Massive, tangled, like bramble-like vines, some 3 to 5 feet thick, that wrap onto each other and over the top of these walls that now kind of crack and crumble by the slow pulling weight of the vegetation, reclaiming it to the corrupted earth below. That's the best you can see from these outskirts. Except for maybe textures like clusters of webs that seem to have taken parts of this ruin. You hear the sound of like something heavy hitting something else heavy, almost like hard wood hitting hard wood. And the scraping sound, uncertain where specifically it's coming from, but deeper within the ruin.
I could summon one of those red creatures.
Oh.
And I could send it up to 180 feet from us.
Will that hurt you?
I mean, no.
Okay.
And it'll do whatever you say?
It's an ally.
Will it do whatever you say?
Is an ally. It takes its turn immediately. It obeys my verbal commands.
Yeah. Send out a decoy.
Right?
Maybe send it right through the middle of this thing. And I think I'll find the tallest structure around and just follow it and track it. And then see if there's any movement, see where it's coming from.
Would it
Okay.
benefit
The
us?
tallest structure you see is the one that caught your attention. And it is a massive central tower that sits in the middle of the city.
Oh, no, I mean like a tree or something, just so I can be up higher and get a... Is there any trees around?
Oh, yeah. There are any trees. There are so many trees.
Yes.
Like 2 trees.
Oh, yeah, I'll find like the tallest tree near us, and as
Okay.
it goes out, when she sends it, I'll just track it.
You clamber up the tree a bit. Quiet as you are, as soon as you get to a certain branch, suddenly about 24 blackbirds just scatter out of the tree off into the sky. Kind of spooks you for a second, but you think you're okay.
We should hide just in case.
You all hide amongst the trees and the shadows on the outskirts of the broken part of the wall where you can kind of see over it a bit.
I'm gonna summon Thought Eater, Crimson Shade.
Eater?
180 feet
Okay.
It's got a
from
positive
me.
connotation.
And
But you're
send a thought into its head.
I'm gonna change the lights here since we're close to the center of the city. Let's go ahead and have a better creepy visual for the center of the ruins of Molaesmyr.
Get a Novus.
In its head, I'm just gonna communicate telepathically with it.
So you summon a crimson shade.
Yeah, 180 feet from
Right.
me.
The rest of you watch as in the center of this kind of partially open walkway that is covered in rubble of stone and kind of twisted vines that kind of wind and sow their way
I've not done
through
this
the
since Ruidus shit, so I'm not sure.
This little bead of red light appears, like a tiny little orb of red that just kind of glows and drifts there in space before it suddenly opens up into a circular gateway. And then as it closes immediately, you see a humanoid figure drifting there, kind of partially ephemeral, partially physical, like of red energy. It looks humanoid. Its legs kind of drifting into a mist towards where the knees go below. Long arms, long fingers that lead into like claws. The body looks humanoid, though the shoulders themselves are kind of broader and kind of almost come to a point. The neck is long, and where the head is, it's almost stretched and along to the back. You do not see any features. There's just this kind of this pale glow where the eyes would be, and it just kind of appears and drifts there. You communicate to it.
Make your way north through the city.
It drifts off, floating through the city, and you can see like the low fog that kind of sits across the entirety of the streets. It just kind of drifts through. You hear that scraping sound. Just continues on.
Are we
Doesn't make
seeing
any
it
noise
stop?
as it moves.
Can I tell it to make noise?
If you want to.
Make some noise.
You hear this high-pitched whine, this... It's like streaking sound, almost like it just emits a call that echoes.
What? It's a lot of noise. Yeah.
It's just like one little burst of it. And it kind of sits there still gliding. These heavy cavalcade of clacking sounds begin to get louder and louder. And you watch from charging out of one of the nearby alleyways off to the side from where you didn't even see, some massive form just comes charging through and slams into the creature you summoned. It looks like some sort of a massive elk being, but its horns at the front of its head are far more extended and separating, almost like a capillary network of horns that spreads out and sprouts from its head that tangle and knot, and it slams them into this creature. What is its AC?
30.
11 plus the level of the spell, so that would be 15.
15. Okay, so that hits.
Does the elk-like creature have a neck?
It does. I'll get more detail here in a minute. You just see it move rapidly.
Calm that motherfucker down so easy.
Takes 42 points of piercing damage
Oh, shit.
and charge damage.
Is it around anymore?
No, it instantly is out. It had 40 hit points.
Oh god. It was the horns plus the charge.
But we saw it, right? At least we
see
can
it.
see what the
It
creature
slams
is.
and you hear this like sound that kind of echoes through, and you now see that it is a massive elk-like beast, probably standing from like ground to shoulders, about 10 feet tall.
Damn.
It's knotted horns extending outward, and as it kind of like gives out its war cry at the destruction of this entity that it struck, it like shifts and turns, and you see it is featureless. Its face is smooth, aside from its like protracted snout.
I wonder if it's one of the defenders, like
Does it look
like
cute like
Umadora?
Umadora?
You
Yeah,
also
like
now
the
notice that it
bull
has about,
Umadora, yeah.
what you guess, 8, 9, 10 elk legs.
That's too
That
many.
kind of
Oh, it's like
black
a spider
below,
elk?
almost like a spider elk. As it curls forward, and the two other thick limbs that drag behind it.
What do you mean?
Drag behind.
Two large limbs that kind of protrude from the side of its shoulders that kind of just drag on the ground behind it. That's the other part.
Dara does not roll like this. They're not rolling.
What?
You see kind of like And the horns kind of shift around, and you see like a weird like scattering of glints across the end of the horns.
Based on what we saw, is it because it doesn't have eyes or mouth or nose?
Yeah.
It's featureless.
Oh, God.
But it responded to the sound and hit it dead on?
Mm-hmm. You watch as it kind of clatters out a little bit more. It begins to walk further into the city. You can see it's the limbs that it's dragging behind. One kind of...
No.
And it's this massive human-like arm that just kind of grabs one of the nearby ruins.
Absolutely not.
Another one, and it begins to pull its way through some of the alleyways of the building, using these like massive, elongated, stretched humanoid arms to kind of lift it forward as they drag behind it as it finishes.
Oh my god!
See, I can give us the ability to. Well, you can also do this on a one-on-one, but I can make us all able to talk to each other telepathically. Okay, I'll cast telepathic bond.
Yes.
That's cool.
So you can all silently talk amongst yourselves.
But before you talk, you have to go, shh.
Yep. 100%.
Moving through this ghost city, you can see the multitudes of beautiful buildings and domed structures and elven homesteads that were built into the sides of trees that protrude from the center of the city. Some of them fallen and crumbled, others reconsumed by the trees that they were built upon, only elements of them protruding from their bark-covered cocoons. You can see there are cables that were hung and strung from different buildings where flags once hung for celebrations that now have become clusters of long broken egg sacs that just kind of hang with the shredded bits of hanging material.
It didn't have to be yucky.
You also swear occasionally in the nearby mist in the distance you see someone walking through the fog, and you glance and there's nobody there. The further you step through it, the larger these ruins are. And there is no other city of this size and scope, nor of this historical tragedy that could mirror what you see before you, other than likely the ruins of Molaesmyr. The air itself smells of humid compost and hard water. Every few steps, another scattering of birds darts off. The moody, obscured sky above begins to open up underneath some elements where the canopy has given way to the occasional needle-like towers that pierces through, or living structures that just slightly push against the canopy, though many of them trees have grown into and through over time. Some may have been built upon them, others just taken. You also see amongst these sometimes thick and winding bramble clusters and heavy vines with large spikes and thorns that protrude from them, bones. Bodies. Many, many ancient bodies lay tangled, buried, or held aloft, woven into the slowly growing vegetation and vine. The remnants of the fleeing families that were unable to escape the expanding miasma and curse of this wood, now adorning the sides of the trees and growing vegetation like a nightmarish Christmas tree. As you plunge deeper into just these mild outskirts of the ruins, uncertain of what lies before you, we're gonna go ahead and call episode.
No!
What? You just gave us a nightmarish Christmas tree!
Why?